I'm Ryan Herbst. I'm Chief Strategist here at UnifiedCommunications.com. I'd like to welcome you to our What's New with Surface Hub 2S webinar. We've got a really great lineup of experts with us today, starting with Anthony Kinney, who is a meeting room global black belt at Microsoft, which I always think continues to be kind of the coolest title ever. AK, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. We also have two members of the UnifiedCommunications.com team. Jacob Fisher, who's a senior strategist here, works on team with me, focused on meetings and devices. And Jean Barrett, our Surface Hub evangelist, who lives and breathes all things Surface Hub. So great lineup. Surface Hub 2S has really emerged as a very key element of hybrid work, based on its unique ability to add ideation and engagement and co-authoring to hybrid meetings and meeting rooms. This is just a very essential element, and we're going to talk more about Surface Hub's role as a standalone device, but increasingly as an accessory that's bringing a lot of that goodness around engagement and ideation into Teams rooms as well. So AK, before we dive into demos, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to share a little bit of your perspective on Surface Hub 2S's role in the hybrid office, and if there's any new features that you're particularly excited about.
Yeah, sure. So first and foremost, thanks for having me. Appreciate everyone joining today, taking time out of their busy schedules. I'm going to share my screen. I just want to show you one or a couple of quick diagrams. Jean's going to go into a much deeper demo of the product, so I'm going to stay a little more high level. And as Ryan mentioned, I want to show you what we're doing at Microsoft. So when we think about hybrid at Microsoft, we're really thinking about a few key elements, right? First, how do we ensure that there is parity, whether I'm in the room or outside of the room, right? You think pre-pandemic, the people in the room were first-class citizens and the poor people remote were kind of afterthoughts. We went into the pandemic and everyone was at home with an individual frame and everyone seemed very, even keeled. But as we start to get into this hybrid world, it's almost like being in the office. You are kind of now the afterthought, right? You got 8 people in a room sharing one screen, in this long bowling alley type room, yet you have all these people remote, maybe sitting in a coffee shop that are full screen up on the device. And, it's really kind of switched this pendulum a lot. So what we've done at Microsoft is really kind of come up with what we're kind of calling these hybrid standards. These are actual rooms that we're rolling out at Microsoft. And what we decided to do was bring in our great partners like Unified Communications to come in and help us resell these rooms, right? Now, you don't have to buy these rooms. Ryan and his team can help you configure your own rooms. What we've just done is, hey, this is how we're doing it. And if you want a copycat, we've built these kind of standards for you. So with that said, let me talk to you a little bit about this room, and most importantly, how the hub really, in this hybrid world, really brings it to fruition, right? So I hope, the first thing that you notice is the furniture in this room. You see, we get rid of that traditional 12-foot boardroom table, which in essence kind of tells your people, don't get out of their seats, right? It almost promotes, don't collaborate, don't do anything, because you're kind of stuck in your chair. And that's not what we want, especially in a hybrid world. We really need to change the focus so that many people are kind of facing the remote attendees and still have an ability to look at each other. So you notice how we use this gumdrop table. A lot of people have different names. That's this guy here. We move that closer to the wall. We take a beautiful camera here. This happens to be a Jabra Panicast that allows full coverage of the room. So regardless if I'm sitting here or there, I'm still showing up into the meeting. And then we've created really cool software on the team side that allows all of the people to look as if they are all in an even spatial area. So to me, that's kind of the traditional sit-down meeting, right? One we're all used to. We go in, we sit down, someone connects a PC, shares some content, chats, video, etc. Pre-pandemic, what would happen is someone would get out of their chair, go start writing on the whiteboard, and by doing that, you turn your back to the people that are remote, and they are instantly no longer part of the meeting, right? So this is really where we think, oh, sorry. Is that me doing echo, Ryan?
No, I'm not hearing it, but
okay.
Do you hear the echo, Jake or John?
A little bit. It might be your side, Ryan.
Okay. So what? Yeah, maybe your speakers, Ryan. But again, so what we're thinking about now is an analog whiteboard that kind of doesn't include the remote attendees is really not supporting a hybrid environment. So that's really where the Surface Hub comes into play. So you see what I've done here by changing the room config, by making it much more modular, by allowing people to roam freely, have optimized seating so that people can come in quickly, maybe do a presentation, slip out of the meeting without interrupting. But the hub now introduces a digital whiteboard canvas, right? Its whole design, as you can see, being on wheels, very much like a easel pad, right? Is the idea that I can walk up to it and I can have people huddled around the hub, right? And on a digital whiteboard, all of my people in the room can start writing on this board, as well as the people that are remote. And I've instantly graduated these traditional standard meetings into a much more hybrid experience where if I'm going to the whiteboard, I'm not excluding people. If I'm getting out of my chair, the camera still catches me, anywhere I go. And I'm always keeping that kind of level eye playing field. Now, as we go through the hub today, you're going to see the hub has amazing capabilities as a standalone device in its own room. It could absolutely be the front of the room device as well in a smaller design, but as you'll see, the camera mics are really more designed for this kind of 3 to 5 foot people huddled up around the hub. So that's why we really pair them together. And when I walk into the room and I hit join on this MTR device, it also automatically brings the hub into that meeting. It disables the hub's mics and speakers and everything else. So the hub is really just sort of this complement, or as I mentioned earlier, collaboration zone within inside of an existing room. So the only other quick thing I want to share real quick is what we're kind of calling our front row room. And I just want you to see this does require a significant investment, right? That first room, very easy to do. Take, maybe a little bit of furniture upgrade. You're not doing too much different, but you notice in this kind of room, we really change the entire dynamic. We move from kind of this long portrait to much more of this horizontal and what wall we were looking at. But I want you to see how we still leverage a Surface Hub. And if you look at this diagram, again, I'm promoting people to get out of their seats. I can move freely. I have wonderful content on a big screen in the front, and then I can easily go over to the right and enable this digital canvas that everyone can write on and edit. Obviously, the Surface Hub, as we go through it today, you'll see runs the full Office suite, Excel, Word, PowerPoint. I can edit Excel live, has a browser, really allows me to, like I said, enable that collaboration in these standard rooms where typically we hadn't done that. So again, I hope that's just a great little intro, how we're thinking about hubs internally, how we're seeing people leverage hubs. They can be, like I said, used in an individual space. They can be on a cart that can be shared across multiple rooms. Is a good way to really maximize your budget and investment. Or you can really go to, like, as you can see here, this is my large 85-inch screen, and we start getting this more into like executive boardrooms and training areas and things like that, where large touchscreen experiences are super important. So, Ryan, I hope that's done a great job sort of introducing it, and flip it back to you.
Thanks, AK. Quick reminder that the Q&A pane is enabled. We are using Teams webinar, and so it's not the chat. You should see a Q&A pane. We don't have specific time. We've got a lot of demos and a bunch of goodness planned for you, so we won't have time for Q&A, dedicated Q&A, but we'll try to answer your questions along the way. If not, we'll reach out afterward. So don't hesitate. You can start entering questions now if you have them. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Jean and Jacob, who are going to be doing some demonstrations. Jean's going to start talking to us just a little bit about what is Hub2S in terms of the hardware and its functionality, and then we'll jump into some of the recently announced kind of features and functionality that really help make this product a powerful kind of big central piece of the hybrid work story. You're muted, John.
Well, thank you so much for that, Ryan and Anthony, for showing why the Surface Hub 2S and the value of, not just the value, but also to show the functionality of the Surface Hub 2S. And I think we have some folks here who might don't know what is the Surface Hub 2S. So I'm going to spend just a few minutes just to explain what is the Surface Hub 2S. So the Surface Hub 2S is a all-in-one collaboration device that is fully integrated with Windows Team Edition, designed for teamwork. You can run Microsoft 365 native apps, including Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Edge, Power BI, even your essential third-party business apps without having to switch devices or project to the Surface Hub 2S. Now, when you approach the Surface Hub 2S, the first thing you notice is the stunning Pixel Sense display. On the 50 inches versions, the one that I have behind, it features a 3:2 aspect ratio, giving you more of the real estate for collaboration. Now, on the 85 inches, it features a 16:9 aspect ratio. They both offer 4K plus resolution and anti-glare treatment, giving you the best image quality for your meetings. Now, the Surface Hub 2S, the 50 inches versions, it comes with one Surface Pen, so you have the tip of the pen. You can set the thickness of the ink when you're using applications like Whiteboard. You also have the top of the pen is the eraser, just as a regular pen. And you also have a side button here that allows you to utilize the lasso tool when you're using applications like Whiteboard. Now, on the 85 inches, it also comes with two Surface Pen. Now, if we go back to the Surface Hub 2S, the 50 inches versions, it comes with a regular Surface Hub as a camera that it features a 4K plus resolution, and it gives you 90 degrees field of view, so you get more view of the room, but also of the participants. Now, with the Surface Hub 2S, the 85 inches, it comes with a new AI Surface Hub 2 smart camera. Now people can walk freely in the room knowing that they'll be captured as they interact with remote participants. But this camera also has some additional features like 4K plus resolution. Now it offers 136 degrees field of view, but you also have auto compensation, image optimization, all these AI auto framing, all this AI technology allows the camera to capture natural faces and elements that are in the front view of the device. Now, the Surface Hub 2S also comes with hidden mics and speakers that are located around the thin bezel. So you have a total of 8 microphones that are located in the top front of the device, and they focuses on human voice that is in the front of, that are in the front of the device. But you also have 2 stereo speakers, and you also have 1 bass module that is located in the back of the device, and it reproduces human voice. Now, when you think about a meeting space, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? A conference room, right? But what do you really need from a conference room? Ultimately, you need a screen and you need a place to work. And so what if you can take all those elements anywhere in the building or anywhere in the office? So Microsoft has partnered with Steelcase to build what is called the Roam Mobile Stand. So now you can be portable with your Surface Hub 2S while you're still having your meetings with your team members. And you might be asking, how is that even possible? Well, Microsoft also thought about that, and they have partnered with APC to build what is called the Charge Mobile Battery. So now you can be portable with your Surface Hub 2S, or even you can actually take your Surface Hub 2S to a different environment that it doesn't have even a power outlet. Now, to wrap up about what is the Surface Hub 2S, and I think I want to make something clear about the 85 inches version. It doesn't offer the APC Charge Mobile Battery, so that's something that is only offered for the 50 inches version. I just want to clarify that. Now, to wrap up about the conversation about what is the Surface Hub 2S, the Surface Hub 2S also comes with additional ports that you can attach any external accessories, and there are third-party companies who offer accessories for the Surface Hub 2S and that are certified by Microsoft. But some of these ports are USB Type-A. You also have 4 USB Type-C, and you also have a mini display port, HDMI port, and an RJ45 port, which is going to be the network core in case you want to use the core instead of having to use the Wi-Fi. So that is the Surface Hub 2S, and I'll go ahead and pass this to Jacob. I think he's going to show you some of the cool features that it has, the Surface Hub 2S, and it has been released by Microsoft recently.
Awesome. Thanks, John. Yeah, like I said, I have some demo I'm going to do. Not so much slides. I'll give you some live demo of some of the features available, some of the newly released options that you can do with the Surface Hub. So I'm going to change my view really quick, so you can both see what I'm doing on the hub as well as get a better view of the interface. Let me make this a little larger for everybody. You can see this clearly. So we know that, as Anthony was mentioning, the Surface Hub Teams Room device can walk up to it, tap to join, jump into your Teams meetings. But recently introduced is the option to use a feature called Direct Guest Join. It's a feature that Microsoft has available on Teams Rooms for a while. Basically, it's a partnership they set up with other meeting providers, Zoom and WebEx, namely the ones currently part of the program. More to come there. That's been available on Teams Rooms, but is recently rolled out to Surface Hub. So I wanted to show what that looks like and what that experience is like, so you can see that live. So I'm just going to jump to my my view of my scheduled meetings on my Surface Hub. So you'll see over on the side here, Surface Hub before might look familiar. I have them named so you can kind of identify what some of those are. Number of Teams meetings on there with a join button, but you'll notice a couple down, you'll notice a Zoom Direct Guest Join demo and WebEx Direct Guest Join demo. So those are meetings specifically, from those platforms, Zoom and WebEx, that have been scheduled on my Surface Hub. And note they have the join button just like a Teams meeting would. So the experience with those is really to kind of mimic that same experience you have with Teams meeting, is tap and jump straight into your meeting. So I'm going to tap the Zoom one first. Notice it launches in a browser. Going to be a familiar experience for anybody that's joined a Zoom meeting from their desktop before. Only a couple clicks to really get going here. One, you're going to notice it is going to ask you for access to your mic and camera. Really easy just to hit allow there, just like you would on your desktop, where you can see that. It will ask you what your name is, what you want to show up as. I'm just going to put Jacob there. On-screen keyboard pops up, and then it's simple as just hitting join to jump into that Zoom meeting. Let's see, I'll join automatically. Same interface. Anyone who has joined a Zoom meeting on their desktop before. Here we have my colleague Brenda already joined the meeting, so there we can see Brenda. See what that looks like with same sort of interface. Everything's still available to you, just like any other Zoom meeting. Controls for participants, sharing, that sort of thing, all touch-friendly interface. Thanks, Brenda. We'll jump to the WebEx one next, show what that's like. Going to be really similar. And Brenda will join us over there. 1 second. Just going back to my my view here, I'm going to choose the WebEx join option. You'll see it should be really familiar. Opens in the Edge browser. Same sort of experience. Can ask you just to enter your name really quickly, how you want to show in that meeting. And then just like before, just a single click to allow access to the Surface Hub's camera and microphone, and then there we're in there. Maybe I was a little bit quick for Brenda making her jump from Zoom to a WebEx meeting, but there you go. Same sort of interface anytime anybody joins, and there you get a little peek at my whole setup too, a little peek behind the curtain. And then you might have noticed when I had this open before, another feature I wanted to show is something that was rolled out a little while ago, but not as familiar for folks, progressive web apps. So on the Surface Hub, you have, go back to the start menu, a number of pre-installed applications, the Office suite, as well as other applications that are available that are certified for use with the Surface Hub. I'll show like Mural being a popular one that can be installed here, but there are going to be applications that you don't have a Surface Hub app that you might want to install on your Surface Hub so you can access those. You can always get to something like that, any kind of web-based application, like say Figma, if you're doing like a FigJam board. But maybe you want to have that installed, make it easy for users to be able to jump to and get to really easily. So if you want to test this out, I'll mention this is really for kind of testing, demoing, seeing what this experience is like. I'll share a slide here later showing you how to deploy it to all of your Surface Hubs. But if you want to kind of test this out with your hub from any web page that you're on, go to the options menu here, and you will see apps. Tap that, and you'll see an option there that says install this site as an app with a little Figma logo there. Choose that. Let's rename whatever it is. So maybe I'm using FigJam within my organization often, so I can give it that name, really friendly, and just choose install. Let's see what happens here is now, allow. That goes to a full screen interface of that browser running as its own application here, as a progressive web app. So even going here, when I go to my app switcher, you will see the two different options. You can see, the browser on the side. We actually have Figma or FigJam running as its own application that we can jump to. So it's not only installed there where we can see it, but what's also useful is now we see in our list of applications. So if a user walks up to use this, they see that like it's any other application on the start menu they can get to. And I don't have it set up on mine, but it is possible to also from the start menu here, this can be modified. So when someone walks up to it, goes to start, they're able to see like whatever applications you like to show there. So really quick, I'll just share some tips here about how to accomplish this. Share some slides just for a second. One second while this loads. So like I mentioned, the way I just showed you how to install a progressive web app, that is really for just kind of demo and testing purposes. The way I did here, when I end my Surface Hub session, it's going to erase that. So it won't be available for the next person. So if you've tested these out, you decide that you really like how these progressive web apps work on your hub, you can install these a couple different ways. Through Intune or any other kind of MDM provider that you have that allows you to build the package and allow those in bulk of those progressive web apps across all your Surface Hubs. Or if you just want to do like a one-on-one basis, you have the option also to build a provisioning package and install with a USB drive, just one by one. Have the documentation there if you're looking to try that out. But yeah, a couple different options to get that installed. And then optionally, like I mentioned, there is also the option to add them to the start menu. So once you've got those progressive web apps added, this is really customizable. Here, showing an example in the screenshot, WebEx, Zoom, YouTube added as additional applications that can be added here. So, and also including the link there for how to modify that start menu on your Surface Hub. But it's an XML file that you can also deploy via Intune, same way you can deploy the progressive web apps. And then also wanted to give a quick demo on this, expanding on what Anthony was showing before with a Teams room and a Surface Hub in the same space. To enable that capability, the feature is called coordinated join or coordinated meetings. Really, it's just a trust relationship you set up between that Surface Hub and your Teams room. It can be set up from the device or from Teams Admin Center if you'd like. Really just set up a few settings there, and then the trust relationship between the two, and then they will be able to join and lead those meetings together. Allow you to bring that Surface Hub into the space and get the best of both worlds, the capabilities of the Teams room and the Surface Hub in the space. So let me show just a quick demo of how that's done, since I've got my Surface Hub here and the Teams room. I'll share my video again. So in order to do that, if you go to Teams, we'll do this from the Teams app on the Surface Hub, not the Surface Hub settings, directly through the Teams app. Go into settings. I'll enter my highly secure username and password here. And you notice with your list of settings that you have here, coordinated meetings is one of those options. I have mine already set up. So You'll see the same set of features on both the Teams Room and the Surface Hub. Really, all that needs to be done is toggle on the feature, and then you have a few different options to choose from. One of them, the first one, turning on the device's microphone. So in a Teams Room and Surface Hub situation, what we'd want to do is from the Surface Hub, we'll uncheck that. We'll say, don't have the Surface Hub join audio. We only need one audio device in the room. On the Teams Room, we'll check that box. So only want to have one box checked. So Teams Rooms will handle the audio, Surface Hub won't. And then you have another option here for the camera. So in this situation, since they're both joining, you have the option of using both cameras in the space. Either turn it on automatically, which this toggle will let you do, or you can toggle it off and check the box there to say, let the users choose to turn their camera on when they want to. That gives a nice scenario for end users, because people remotely outside the meeting, because you get the camera for the Teams Room capturing the table, but then you get that second camera at the Surface Hub, clearly capturing the person who's working on the Surface Hub. You get two nice views in the room, and this just gives that option to toggle that on or off. And then if you want to start incoming video when it starts, and then because the Surface Hub whiteboarding is turned on automatically. And then just the last thing you have to do to set here is just that trust relationship. So you notice there I have Jacob MTR that my Surface Hub is pointing at. On Jacob MTR, I have a pointed back at Surface Hub. Just as long as they're both pointing at each other and it's turned on, this feature will work. One thing I'll also note, if this is maybe you're rolling in your Surface Hub only occasionally into the room, if you toggle off this coordinated meetings feature and then toggle it back on, it will retain those settings. So it gives you that option to, if you're only using Surface Hub occasionally on the covered in room, to use this on or off. So yeah, mine's already set up. I won't spend the time going through the settings on the Surface Hub. Like I mentioned, it's a duplicate, but I can change my view here and just kind of show you real quickly what that experience looks like. So here I have a, okay, it shows up. There we go. So I have a Teams Room with a Surface Hub, both in the same space. Both have the meeting on their screen as a meeting room. And from either space, I can walk up and I can choose the join button here. I'm gonna do it from the Surface Hub. You can do this from the Teams Room as well. And what you'll see here is the Surface Hub joins that meeting, and then the Teams Room joins at the same time. So both join together. Audio only started on the Teams Room, not on the Surface Hub side. And then that gives that capability of, we're in a room like this for the Teams Room, want to use, like, say, the whiteboarding capabilities. Start that really quick. And so we can take advantage of that, the touch capabilities of Surface Hub. Anything that we launch there, that's going to automatically be shared in this meeting. Kind of nice too, in the Teams Room, you see the content that we're doing on the Surface Hub is also duplicated through our room, so people get a couple different views of what's going on there.
Jake, this functionality is so important and so cool from a hybrid perspective, and I just think it's, hopefully everybody's kind of getting this. But I think Teams Rooms have this great ability to provide high quality audio and video and AI-based camera and all this goodness. Pairing a Surface Hub in a room, could be a room like this, could be a multi-purpose or training room, is giving us this, even if we're not standing up and interacting with the device, it's giving us another kind of visual canvas that is duplicating content and video that I could position. Let's say this is a multi-purpose room. I could position that in different places to help supplement our front of room displays. But it also gives us this, this ability to really get up and interact and ideate and co-author with folks that are both outside of the room and in the room. And another camera. I think that's another vantage point, as you shared, where this camera could be positioned, because this could be on a mobile stand, and we could decide if we want that camera on all the time. So in a meeting like this, we see both the Teams Room, front of room, or wherever those cameras are, cameras, but the Surface Hub's camera is also present. Or like you said, you could toggle it on or off just when somebody walks up and starts using that device. They're sharing whiteboard, they're using one of our progressive web apps and presenting. They could toggle on that camera just from the the familiar Teams interface and toggle it off when they're finished. Super super exciting and important, I think, as we really are trying to create spaces that are exciting, that are magnetic, that are delivering more capability than people have, in their homes. And when they come to the office, they're seeing this level of sophistication.
Yeah, I agree completely. Yeah, that's kind of the end of the demonstration I was going to give today, because John also has some additional new exciting features for Surface Hub and Whiteboard he's going to show us. So pass it back to John.
Awesome. Just allow me just a few seconds. I actually going to share my screen just a little bit.
Jacob, nice use of NDI, my friend.
Thank you. Sorry about the lighting. One of my lights died on me there for a second, so hopefully it still looked.
Yeah, for those, I guess, for those watching, there's a lot behind the scenes to be able to help make sure that you get a really kind of compelling view of what we're doing. We're not just pointing a camera at something with a bunch of glare. And so we're using some technology behind the scenes to give you the feel of what it would look like if you were standing in front of a Surface Hub or a Teams room. Go ahead, John. We're seeing your screen.
Well, thank you so much for that, Jacob. How amazing is that now we have direct guest join available for the Surface Hub 2S. I guess we were all waiting for that, and now it's available. But I also have some other cool features I wanted to show you today. And one of those features is actually called annotations in a Teams meeting. And I'll go ahead and explain what is annotations in a Teams meeting. So basically, it is a new tool that is a Microsoft Whiteboard. It is powered by Microsoft Whiteboard and allows you to collaborate in different ways. So you can do things like design, or you can do a presentation while you are in a Teams meeting, or while you are sharing your screen through a Teams meeting. And before we actually do a demo, because we're going to do a demo for you, I wanted to explain something else to you. So this is in preview mode, meaning that in public preview, meaning that it is available for everybody at this point. However, you might be expecting some changes or some additional updates when it comes to this feature. But I also want to explain to you how it works. So the Surface Hub 2S doesn't initiate the annotation tool, but instead, if you have a meeting and you have 10, 20 participants, regardless of how many participants you have, any of the participants who have their company devices is able to share the screen and start the annotation through there. So I do have a third computer here. I cannot do like two meetings in the same computer, but I have a third computer here, and I can actually start annotations here from my third computer. So if you allow me just a few seconds, I'm going to share the screen of this computer. And then right after I share the screen, I do have the ability to start the annotation from this computer. And what you see right now, I'm actually sharing the Unified Communications website, but I can also see that a participant started the annotations tool in the Surface Hub 2S, because the Surface Hub 2S has been invited to this meeting. So I also want to call Jacob, which is under KidSmart. He's also connected to this meeting, and we are able to fully take advantage of this annotations tool. So the first thing I'm going to explain to you here, we have a very similar tools that we have in Microsoft Whiteboard, and I can actually use my pen. So I see actually Jacob. Let me actually turn one cool feature here, which is called Collaborative Cursor. So I can actually see Jacob where he's actually making some annotations on this screen sharing that I'm doing. So you can see Jacob is moving. He's actually putting some reaction. He's clapping. Maybe I want to start collaborating with him, and I want to highlight that we were Partner of the Year on 2021. We want to be also Partner of the Year this year and the upcoming years. But also, let's say maybe I want to drive people's attention to a specific area of this screen sharing. So maybe I can use my pen, and by using the laser pointer, I can actually drive people's eye to this area of the screen share. As you can see, the laser pointer, it'll stay for a good 3, 4, 5 seconds, and then it'll disappear. I'll do that again just in case you didn't get to see it, but that's how it works. I also have the ability to go to the gear icon and I can also enable Enhance Inkscape. The same way how it works on Whiteboard. So if I actually turn this feature on, and then I'll go ahead and use my pen, maybe I can use that color, but if I try to do a circle, you see my circle is not perfect, but Whiteboard is recognizing that I'm trying to do a circle and it'll make it perfect for me. The same thing if I actually do a square, it'll work the same way. Now, if you actually go back to the pen, if you click twice, so then you have the ability to actually change the thickness of the pen. You can change the color if you want. You can do single side or double side arrow. And I'll go ahead and give you an example of about how it works. So it'll place a arrow in each side of this line that I'm drawing. Or I can use also my eraser and delete anything that I want. I can also undo anything that I have done, or I can actually forward. Now, if I want to delete everything of the collaboration we have done with these remote participants, I can actually go to the trash can and I can just simply delete everything that I have done on that collaboration. Now, the next thing I wanted to show you that is also a very cool feature, and I'm going to stop sharing here so that way I can go to the next feature. So it is the ability to be able to open existing whiteboard when you are in a Teams meeting. So I'll go ahead and explain how it used to work before. Before, you were connected into a meeting and you didn't have the ability to open your whiteboard catalog. Versus now, you have the ability to actually open your whiteboard catalog and see all the existing whiteboard you have worked in the past. That is something that I want to share with you. So you don't have the ability to actually see the whiteboard catalog from a Teams meeting when you are on the Surface Hub, but you have the ability to have any of your participants to be able to share whiteboard, their existing whiteboard. An example of that, I actually going to use again my third computer that I have here, and I'll go ahead and try to share a whiteboard. So if I actually go to whiteboard, and actually I'm going to change here my view so you get to see how it looks like before you somebody start to share the whiteboard. So this is the view that the end user will get when you actually start to share the whiteboard. Now you should be getting a similar view of what I'm showing right now, where I have a multiple whiteboard projects already open. Then if you select any of those whiteboard, obviously it'll share with the Surface Hub. And this is how it's looking for the Surface Hub user who is in the front of the device. So now let's say I'll go ahead and open this whiteboard, because this is the whiteboard that I actually have ready for this demo. And this is how you can actually use this is how you can actually open new whiteboard or existing whiteboard. Now, take a look to something. I actually am going to go back to my computer and I'm going to open a whole different whiteboard. So that way you can see how I'm switching between back and forward with different whiteboards as well. So right now I'm opening a whole different whiteboard. So if you're in a meeting, you can definitely do that as well.
This is super. I just wanted to kind of underscore this one because, we could be in a particular space, before lunch, working on something together, both with, our remote colleagues and folks in the room. And, we go to lunch and we have a different conference space that we booked, post, and the ability to come back in and just pull back up that same canvas that we were working on, collectively and keep going is so exciting, and for the Hub to be able to be a part of this. And this is just Teams, as everybody hopefully is seeing the power that is within within Whiteboard and how much Whiteboard has evolved in Teams, recently. This is another kind of pivotal, just super important tool as part of the hybrid story. But this idea within Teams meetings of being able to pull up our prior whiteboards, not just see them in the local application, but inside Teams when we share them, to be able to share something we worked on in the past, and then that flows down into our shared spaces with Surface Hub. That again, just super powerful.
Hey, Brian,
Awesome.
two things to add to that. One is, first, John, great job. And I hope you see what we've worked hard at Microsoft is to give you one universal whiteboard, right? So I think that's where Ryan was going, like whether you're on the hub or you're on a PC or you're on a Mac or you're on an iPad or an Android, you know, obviously the writing that Jean is doing is going to be dependent upon you having a writable device, but you could use your finger or follow along. So it works across all those devices. The second thing I want to add, we just did a ton of architectural work. So you may be thinking, where are these stored? They're all stored inside of your OneDrive for Business. And then from there, we adhere to all of your corporate policies on compliance, retention. So, you know, the whiteboard is almost just like a file. It's like a Word doc, and you can put all your permissions. So I just want to add that because that's usually a pretty common question that we'll get. So great job, Jean.
Awesome. No, absolutely. I totally agree with you. Another cool feature I wanted to actually show everyone today is the ability to do cross-tenant when you are using applications like Whiteboard. I do have here KidSmart. As you can see here, Jacob, that's Jacob right there, but he's actually using a whole different tenant. And you can see that he's outside of the organization. He's using another tenant, and you can see how at the end of his name it says external. So this is showing you how you can actually collaborate with people even outside of your organization. So which is very cool when it comes to the collaboration part. The next thing I wanted to show you, what is also new on the Surface Hub 2S, it is the ability to insert images, to insert links and videos. But I'll go ahead and explain to you how it works. So the way how it works, so let's say you are in a meeting, again, you have participants. Any of those participants is capable to actually insert links and videos into that whiteboard. Now that you have shared that and you have those open on the Surface Hub 2S, now you can continue the collaboration. Maybe I want to open this website, so maybe I can just click here on this website, and then it'll open up here on the Surface Hub 2S. And again, it's bringing me to the unifiedcommunications.com because that's the link that a participant shared into this whiteboard. So maybe I'm going to close this here for a second. And the next thing I wanted to show you is that as a participant, you also have the ability to insert videos into a whiteboard session. And here is an example, just for the sake of time, I already brought a video here, but you can actually play the video straight from the whiteboard application, so you don't have to go to a whole different application. So I'll go ahead and play here just for a few seconds.
Really cool that it's giving you the preview as well, John, of the video. Yeah.
Absolutely. You can also make it larger if you want. You can just zoom in and have a better view if you want that as well. There are so many things you can do in order to enhance the collaboration here with this new tool. But you also have the ability to insert images, as you can see. And another cool feature I wanted to show you today is actually the ability to insert text in shapes. So in the past, you were able to insert just text into a sticky note, but that has changed. Now, a new feature is the ability to also insert text in a shape. So if I actually go ahead and select any of these shapes that I have pre-made shapes, I do have, maybe I can select a circle. I can make it larger. And now that I have my circle, I do have the ability to type anything on it. So I can use my digital keyboard and maybe I can type just hi. And then I can also change the size. I can move this around. I can just change the color if I want as well. But there are so many things you can continue to do in order to enhance the collaboration as well here. Lastly, there is another tool that I wanted to introduce to you, and it's actually called Drop Sticky Notes into Grips. So this is something that is also new. So you have the grips here, already created one grips here, but now you have sticky note. In the past, you wasn't able to add these sticky notes into grips. Now you can just simply drag them and they will recognize that you want to actually include those sticky note into the grip. If I actually show you how do I create those grips, so if you actually come here to the sticky note session, you have the grips here, and this is how you bring the grips. So if I go ahead and delete 2 of these grips, right? And then I add a new sticky note, maybe a purple sticky note. So I can definitely do the same. And this is how I drag sticky note into grips, which is very cool. Another cool feature, and I think I already spoke about cross-tenant. So yeah, those are the features that I actually wanted to show you today. I hope that you find this information valuable and you can apply this to your business needs as well. But I'm going to pass it on to Brian, who has some announcement to do as well.
Wonderful. And I think you're going to share out just the background on a couple of these offers, right? Yeah, we're close to out of time, and I am hopeful that that everybody watching this either live or on recording is seeing some of the real power and ability that we have as architects and designers of shared spaces to be able to kind of take these to the next level. I want to thank Anthony Kinney and all of our presenters today for joining us. I'll tell you that we'd love to continue this discussion. We're very passionate about this. This is what we do day in and day out. We are offering a complimentary Hub2S focused hybrid device strategy session to any qualified business customer that is either listening live or on the rebroadcast, although this is really more for our live folks. That session would be led by one of our UnifiedCommunications.com strategists. So please be on the lookout for this in our post-event follow-up. One lucky person who signs up for a strategy session within the next week will qualify to be entered into a drawing for a Surface Pro 9 device. So super cool opportunity to get some great value for us to leverage some resources to help you move your organization forward and get a great Surface Pro 9 device at the same time. We'll have links to the recording, so you can share those with others that couldn't attend today. And then there's a couple of, there's a very special offer around for Surface Hub V1 customers that is in market right now, where you can get a very special price to upgrade to Hub2S, the kind of latest hardware and the latest technology and the latest experience. We've got that slide good. Let's move to this. So yeah, you can see this is a limited time offer. This expires at the end of January, but you can get some really special discounting on both the 50 and the 85-inch hubs. There's some limits on how many of these you can purchase, but this is a great time. It's also a great time because Hub isn't available. Right? We were in a, for the first time in a long time, Hub is both the 50 and 85-inch device are shippable without a lot of lead time. So great opportunity if you're looking to do some things at the end of this year or want to make sure you go into 23 with all of the right collaboration tools. This is a great offer. We also have some offers if you don't have legacy Hub version 1 devices and you're just getting started. We've got some really compelling offers for folks that are doing their first couple of Surface Hubs as well. And please reach out to us. We can talk to you about those as well. AK, any kind of closing remarks? We really appreciate you joining. Your perspective and analysis, is always valuable and appreciated.
No, team did great. Covered a lot. I mean, I would just recommend the customers definitely reach back out to you because, we're trying to show you a lot in a little bit of time. And, some people can take advantage of all of these features. Some people take advantage of some. So I would definitely recommend that, you reach out for a briefing with Ryan's team.
Wonderful. Well, with that, big thanks again to our audience for joining us today and to all of our presenters. And we will call this one a wrap.